Welcome to KX News on the Go. I'm Chance Thicklin.
And I'm Amber French. Courage, compassion, and a life saved. A man who was quick to thinking and willingness to jump into action turned a moment of crisis into a miracle for an elderly woman. Seth O'Donnell serves on the Gladstone Fire Department, the Dickinson Rural Fire Department, and the Dickinson Dive and Rescue Team. On one of his days off, he leaped into action back in August of last year when he saved Barbara Begg's life after she got into an accident. Doctors say because he kept her awake and alert, she survived the incident. To honor O'Donnell's noble act, he was awarded the Stark County Spirit of Excellence Award, which came as a surprise to him since he thought he was only going to a Christmas party.
Yeah, it's a big surprise. I usually avoid the spotlight and the publicity and all that. I just like to do the volunteer side and just give the others more than you give to yourself and just try helping out as much as you can, and just a good thing to do.
How do you repay someone for saving your life? Well, Barb repaid him the only way she knew how, by baking him homemade cinnamon rolls. If you want to know more about this heartwarming story, you can find it on our website at kxnet.com.
One city is launching a new service that is keeping residents informed straight from their phones. The city of Williston officially launched their Text My Gov service on Wednesday. The service allows people to receive city information and alerts through text messages on their phones. Mitch Melberg, the communications director, says people will get updates on things like road closures, emergencies, office closures, sanitation changes, snow plowing, and other information without having to check the city's website. Now, Melberg says the system will allow two-way communication. You can sign up by texting Williston ND to 91896 or by texting HI to the number available on your screen.
In other news this morning, senators in D.C. are now considering a plan that would ensure wild horses will remain in western North Dakota. This week, Senator John Hoeven says the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee approved his bipartisan bill to maintain wild horses at Theodore Roosevelt National Park. The bill would require Doug Burgum to maintain a diverse herd of at least 150 horses in the South Unit. It would also not allow the federal government from removing any horses from the park unless it's part of a plan to improve genetic diversity, if there's an emergency or if there's danger to the public health or safety. If the bill is signed, it would also require an annual report to the public, including information on the horse's population and health.
This is an important step, getting our legislation through the full committee, and now we go to the Senate floor. And again, this is all about making sure that we have a diverse, healthy herd of horses, wild horses, in the park for the long term.
Senator Hoeven introduced the bill along with Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, whose own home state includes a wild band of these ponies. The full Senate has yet to vote on that bill.
Good morning, Andre.
And good morning to you too, Amber and Chance. And it is a wicked start to our Thursday here in the capital city. We are seeing those blowing snow conditions and the temperature is at 6 degrees. But look at the wind out of the north-northwest at 23 miles per hour with a visibility of 1 mile. But let's check over into what's going on there in Lake Metagoshi. We are seeing a really blizzard-like conditions with a temperature of 0 degrees, and the visibility is also at 0. And the winds are out of the north at 39 miles per hour. Now, looking at our current storm team radar right now, folks, we are continuing to watch these snow bands continuing to filter its way towards the south and east, still impacting places like the capital city and around the Magic City, but really it is into the eastern side of the viewing area. Diving in a little deeper, where places like the capital city have seen a break from the heavier bands, but we do have one more light to moderate band to move on through here in Washburn. Still seeing that band there in Turtle Lake, there in McCluskey, Strasburg, still seeing that really moderate snowfall this morning. And here in our northern interior counties like Upham into Willow City, we're starting to see those conditions improve just a little bit here, but we are still seeing those blizzard-like conditions, ground blizzard-like conditions, if you will. And it wouldn't surprise me if some light snow is still falling, because sometimes with the radar, it doesn't really pick up quite well. And once we get into the western side of the state, however, we are seeing some clearing conditions there in Williston and even in the great city of Watford City, which is really nice to see. But however, towards the south in the west, we're also seeing some clearing conditions in our southwestern counties, including there in Dickinson, but places like New Salem in there and Flasher, we're still seeing some of those treacherous conditions this morning. Now our winds right now are out of the north and west about 20 to 40 miles per hour, and guess what? Our wind gusts are around about 20 to 50 miles per hour, so it is quite a gusty morning this morning, and we saw wind gusts as high as around 90 miles per hour early on this morning in our south and western counties, so it has been quite a storm for sure. We are still seeing those really hazardous roads this morning, especially in our northeast and northwestern counties of the state, and this is where we're going to dive in a little deeper, where a no travel advisory still remains in effect for places like Williston and even in the Crosby and into the Plentywood area, and also in our northeastern counties we are seeing places like Devil's Lake and Grand Forks in this action here, so you just want to be careful when traveling this morning, folks. And as far as our current visibility, looking to be on the bad side, especially in our central and eastern counties here, and we are seeing our temperatures at the moment in the single digits this morning, so it is quite cold. Looking at our wind chill report brought to you by Absolute Comfort Plumbing and Heating, we're seeing those values in the teens and 20s below zero, so it is just one of those mornings that you just want to stay inside, and we are still under those blizzard and winter weather advisories through lunchtime today. Looking at the timing, this is our later on this morning, we're going to continue to see those conditions kind of dry on out, which is going to be really nice to see, especially after the wild morning we've seen, and during the afternoon we could even see mainly sunny conditions, so that's something to really watch out for. And we're also going to be watching for those windy conditions to persist through our lunchtime hour as well, and we will see those winds die down from the 40 to 65 miles per hour now into about 30 to 50 miles per hour around our early afternoon hours, and then relaxing in a good breath as we get into the evening hours. Now highs today won't be climbing much, only into the single digits in the teens, so it is going to be a rather cold day. Once we get into tonight, temperatures plummet down into the single digits and single digits below zero, and even teens below zero in our northeastern counties and teens in our western tier counties, so a cold night in store for us here. In Williston, we will continue to see a roller coaster temperature ride over the next several days with 20s as we start out the new season, which is winter. We're going to be watching that very closely here. And here in Dickinson, we're also going to be seeing an up and down temperature swing with 30s by the time we get into the first day of winter, so not too bad, if you will. Now looking here in the Magic City, we're going to be seeing those AM blizzard-like conditions with single digits, 30s for our Friday here, and then once we get into our Saturday, single digits, then 20s as we start out winter, and those 20s will continue as we get into early to mid next week. And that same thing goes here in the Bismarck area too as far as roller coaster temperatures, and we will see those 20s as we start out the new season.
Alrighty, Andre, thank you, and thank you for joining us here on KX News on the Go. For Amber, for Andre, for our entire team here at KX News, please stay safe, travel safely. We'll see you tomorrow.